Okay, welcome everyone. As we finish the 11th parak of Yevamos. This was not an easy parak, the 11th parak, and start the 12th parak of Yevamos, sponsored Lili Nishmas Avram Dov ben David, the Fush Lema for Yomis ben Chayesara, and for the schus of Avram and Yom Benish ben Malki Yudis and family, by the Fisher family, Lili Nishmas Bas Bas Rabbi Shalom ben Avram Alevi, Perel Bas Ruvain, Neshama should have an Aliyah, Lili Nishmas Avigdoraya ben Rivka, the Fush Lema, 120 years, for my Shver Avigdoraya ben Rivka, Meir ben Chayesara, by the Klugman family. Also, just a reminder that we are looking for a second sponsor for the special Hanukkah share this week, Hanukkah Gems 5784, Wednesday night at 9. If you would want to be the second sponsor, 718-916-3100, rmmwsi@aol.com. Also, to let you know that I did put on my YouTube channel a Q&A from the Irgun Shirei Torah back 2015, almost 10 years ago, that Yossi Tov was the moderator. It's very fascinating. It's an hour and 20 minutes. Check that out. Check out the other Hanukkah Shirim there. Make sure to subscribe and to like. So we are finishing the 11th parak now with the 7th Mishnah. The same scenario. What happened over here was Sarah was not patient. She was married to Ruvain, and he died. And they had children. He died. And she didn't wait the requisite 3 months, the 3 months of Avchana. Rather, she married Chatzkel after 2 months. And then, 7 months later, she had a child. We don't know if this is a posthumous 9-month child from our first husband, Ruvain, or is it a 7th-month child from her second husband, Chatzkel. Now, in the case in our Mishnah, what complicates it is that Ruvain was a Kohen and Chatzkel was a Yisrael. So if the child is a 9-month baby from the Ruvain, then he's a Kohen. If it's from Chatzkel, 7-month, he's a Yisrael. So we don't know if the child is a Kohen or a Yisrael. So Echad Yisrael v'Echad Kohen, if Ruvain was a Kohen and Chatzkel was a Yisrael, so the child, since he might be a Kohen, Noise Yisrael a Kohen. He can only marry a woman that's fit for a Kohen. In other words, he can't marry a divorcee. Since he might be a Kohen, he can't contaminate to the dead, because Kohanim can't contaminate to the dead. But if he does become Tommy, even b'mezid, he doesn't get Malchus because he might be Yisrael. We don't give people Malchus Mesafik. Since he might be Yisrael, because he might be Chatzkel's child, he can't eat Truma. However, if he did eat, you can't make him pay the principal and a fifth, because he might be a Kohen. Since he can't eat Truma, he doesn't get a portion of Truma by the threshing floor. But from his own crops, he separates the Truma, and he could sell it to Kohanim. He can't eat it, but he could sell it to Kohanim, but Adam Shalai, he gets to keep the money. He doesn't get a portion. Let's say we'll see that he could work it on the Mishmar of Ruvain. He could work in the, he could be, not work, but he could, if he wants, he could go there, but he doesn't get Oirais because he's not a Kohen. We don't give him kachim to be makriv because he might be Chatzkel's child and Yisrael. They might see an eshalei miyadai, but that which is his, meaning a bechor that's born in his flock, we don't take it away from him. We'll see in a minute what we do with it. He's exempt from giving from his regular animals the right foreleg, the cheek, and the more to a kohen, because he could say, prove that I'm not a kohen. Now, what happens to the firstborn? Since he's not a kohen, he can't eat the firstborn. He has to wait until he gets a mum, and then he could shecht it and eat it, because once a bechor gets a mum, it could be eaten even by Yisrael. If you remember, we said that this means that if he brings a carbon mincha, so we have to treat it as if it was a minchas kain and a minchas Yisrael. Now, mincha Yisrael, we take a kmitza, a handful, burn it on the mizbech, and the shirayim are eaten. But it's also treated as a minchas kain, and minchas kain is kula kalal. It has to be totally burnt on the altar without taking off a kmitza. So therefore we give both chumras. First we take a kmitza, burn that on the mizbech, and then the rest we also burn on the mizbech because it might be a minchas kahanim. Now what happens if both Ruvain and Chatzkel are kahanim? He might be a 9-month from Ruvain or a 7-month from Chatzkel, but either way he's a kain. That makes things simpler. Hayishneim kahanim. So then who einein aleim? If either Ruvain or Chatzkel dies, since it might be his father, he's an einan, and the first day of the death he's not allowed to, since he's a kain now, he would be allowed to do the akrava, but the first day he can't do an akrava. Veheim, and they are einan malav, because both Ruvain and Chatzkel, if he dies, it might be their son. Hu eina metami lahem, he can't be metami to them, because if Ruvain dies, he can't be metami, because he could only be metami to the 7 close kin. He can't be metami to Ruvain because Ruvain might not be his father. He can't be metami to Chatzkel because Chatzkel might not be his father. V'heim ein metami loy, and either one, Ruvain or Chatzkel, when he dies, they can't be metami to him because because he might not be their son. Hu ein a Yerushai son? He doesn't. If there are other brothers from Ruvain, he can't yashin Ruvain because they'll say, "Look, you're not a brother; you're Chatzkel's child," and he can't be Yerush Chatzkel either if there are other brothers. Aval heim yashin Moisai. If he dies, then Ruvain and Chatzkel split the Yerusha because one of them is his father. Now, if he hits one of them or curses one of them, or pater al makasai al kilulasai shel zeh v'shel zeh, if he hits or curses Ruvain or Chatzkel, he doesn't get executed because it's only a suffix that they're his father, and a suffix we don't give an execution. Since they're both kahanim, each have, remember there are 24 mishmaros. So if let's say Ruvain belongs to the 3rd mishmar and Chatzkel belongs to the 16th mishmar, so he could do the avodah during the 3rd mishmar and during the 16th mishmar, but he doesn't take a portion. Why? Because each one will say, you're from the other mishmar. If conveniently both Chatzkel and Ruvain belong to the 3rd mishmar, so then then he takes one portion because Mamanav Shoki belongs to the 3rd mishmar. And now we start the 12th parak, the easiest parak in Yevamos. Mitzvahs chalitza. Now, we know if Ruvain is married to Sarah, and Ruvain dies childless, so Shimon either does Yibam with Sarah, marrying her, or they do the ritual known as chalitza, where Sarah removes Shimon's shoe, spits at him, and says, Kochi ya'asal ish asher lo yivna es beis achiv, who doesn't want to rebuild his brother's home. Now, this ritual is done b'shloisha dayanim in front of 3 judges. V'afilu shloshta nedyotis. They could even be 3 commoners. As long as they know the psukim that have to be said to make sure that they read the formula, that's enough. Cholza b'minol, if she removes a soft leather shoe from the Yevam's foot, from her brother-in-law's foot, chalitzas ksheira. But it's only ksheira b'di'evet, because l'chatchila we don't like a soft leather shoe, because if it's soft leather, it could be worn even if it's torn. And if it's torn, it's possible. It's therefore, we want l'chatchila to use a sandal, hard leather, where if it's torn, you won't be able to wear it. Ban pilin, if she removes his sack, chalitzas psula, that's no good, because it has to be, a nal is midei de megan, something that protects the foot, because we learn out from anolcha takash, that it has to be or, and therefore, if it's sack, it's cloth, it doesn't protect, and it's possible. Besandal sheyesh li akev. Now, akev over here doesn't mean the classical heel. Okay means that it's a shoe that has a back. If it's a hard leather shoe that has a back, kosher. If it doesn't have a back, so it slips off the foot, then it's possible. Now, since it says v'choletz naloi me al ragloi, it needs to be tied right above the foot. So min arkuva lamata, if it's tied below the knee, chalitzas ksheira. Min arkuva lamala, if it's tied above the knee, that's not me al ragloi, that's me al de me al. And then chalitzas psula, the chalitza is puzzle. We again want to point out that this week we will have a special Hanukkah shir aired here in Fairways for men and women at 9 o'clock Wednesday night. If you would like to sponsor Hanukkah Gems 5784, you can text 718-916-3100 or email rmmwsi@aol.com. Thank you for joining us and have a wonderful evening.